Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 85. In this episode, I am going to be sharing why Sarah Meyer is so badass. Now, the 3 reasons why I think she's badass is because she had a problem that nobody else was talking about, and she figured out what to do with that. Second is she pursued being a physical trainer. And third was her persistence to see things through. If you didn't catch my last episode with Sarah Meyer, then you certainly want to check that out. We talked about postpartum depression, anxiety, mental health, fertility issues, having tough conversations, and then also the difference between shame and guilt. So if you missed it, definitely check that out. And if you liked my conversation with Sarah or today's episode, I would be so grateful if you headed over to iTunes and left a 5-star review. If you leave a review and a comment as well, that would be so amazing. You're a badass, and I want to help get this podcast into other people's ears, to badasses like you. Will you help me? If you do, I would love for you to take a screenshot and send it to me on Instagram, so that way I can say thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, I love the O2B community and would be so grateful if you just headed over to iTunes and left a review. All right, with that, let's get to the episode, shall we? Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I'm so glad that you're here. Today, we're going to chat about the 3 reasons why I think Sarah Meyer is so badass. I really enjoyed last episode and just hearing about her experience, but she was so open and vulnerable about it. And I always appreciate when we can have these real and tough conversations, because I'm a believer that it certainly helps other women too. So one of the things that I thought was so badass about Sarah Meyer was she had a problem that nobody else was talking about. So she started her own business and podcast, Embrace, Live, Thrive. Sarah said, why aren't we all talking about and engaging with one another? When she realized that she had postpartum depression and nobody was talking about the issue. For a long time, Sarah felt like she was on an island of her own. She had all this anxiety and just was worrying about what was going on with her kids and being separated from her kids, because she said she also had separation anxiety as well. And then she didn't want to be home. She didn't want to be away from home or away from the kids. So it was like a never-ending cycle. So once Sarah started to talk to other women about what she was going through, she learned that there are other people going through the same exact thing. So how cool was that she created a platform to talk about this exact issue that so many women go through? And often it isn't talked about. And sometimes it takes you being vulnerable and sharing your own story for other people to feel comfortable to share their own. So I thought that was cool that Sarah not only was vulnerable, if I could talk today, that she was not only vulnerable enough to share her story, but then she started a community around it and is creating conversations with other women talking about her experience and their experience so that you're not alone. Because a lot of times we feel alone when we think that nobody else is going through the same thing as us. Or maybe you start thinking you're a bad mom or a bad wife. But the reality is, other people have gone through it. So if you're struggling with something, I would urge you to maybe speak to a close friend about it. Somebody who you're safe talking to and you know is not going to judge you, or go to a counselor, but maybe consider talking about it, right? Because you don't know that somebody else hasn't went through the same thing that you have if you don't share. There are also plenty of like Facebook groups or social media, or, well, maybe not social media, but like Facebook groups or even websites where you can go on and find women or people who are going through the same thing that you've been through. And there is such power in that. So kudos to Sarah for seeing a problem and then taking action and doing something about it. So I love that. The second thing that I thought was so badass about Sarah Meyer was her whole journey to becoming a physical trainer. She talked about how hard it was. And at first she didn't even get into the school that she wanted to. I think it was Wash University. I am really having a tough time talking today. But she didn't get into Wash University, and maybe it was Washington University. But she was persistent and she got on the waiting list. And as soon as she got in, she started going for it. And she said that she thought she was good. She thought she was confident, and kept getting reviews that she wasn't very confident. And so then that can take a hit to your confidence when you keep hearing, you need to be more confident about this. You need to do this or that. But Sarah, she could have given up. She could have been like, forget this. This is too hard. Or told herself, I'm not meant to do this. But that's not at all what she did. She listened to the feedback and used it to grow and learn. And here's the thing. We oftentimes think that we suck when we first start something, and we think that, we should have been amazing or got great feedback. Okay, you're starting something new. You're learning. You're growing. You are allowed to do those things. Don't let negative feedback get in your way. Don't let it stop you from doing something amazing. Sarah loved doing physical therapy, and that was a huge part of her life. So what if she had just given up on that merely because she wasn't getting good reviews? That would have totally changed her life. So now I'm asking you, what are you giving up on, or have you given up on, merely because somebody said something bad about it, or you got a negative review or negative feedback? What did you drop? Is it worth picking back up? Take a page from Sarah's book and get past the feedback. Listen to what they have to say and keep going. If you need to, listen to what they have to say and then pivot. But you can do this. All right. Number 3. The third reason why Sarah is so badass is because of her persistence to see it through. What is the it that I'm referring to? It's her whole journey with like anxiety and postpartum depression and mental health. She was persistent in seeing it through. She didn't just let it get a hold of her. Now, I know that postpartum depression and mental health, those are all medical issues, and I'm certainly not a doctor, and it's not easy to overcome. But she did several things to try to get herself out of that, like going to a doctor and talking to her friends about it. You easily could just get buried in that. You could stay in the suffering. So I thought it was super badass that she kept persevering. And then she even said in the episode, once Corona hit, like she was in 2020, it was her year to be healthy. She was taking medication and doing all the right things. And then Corona hit. That would have been the perfect time to like be like, okay, this is too hard. I'm stopping. I can't do this anymore. But she didn't. She persevered through it. She stayed persistent, even during the hard times. So how does that apply to you? Where in your life can you keep going, even though it's hard right now? I know it's hard. 2020 was crazy. 2021, still crazy. There's a pandemic right now. There's a lot going on. But how can you persevere through this? How can you stay strong in 2021? All right. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, Sarah, she's a badass, right? It was really cool hearing what she had to say. So I think it would be cool to show her some love. Show her what this episode meant to you. So definitely screenshot the episode and then send me a DM at Ordinary to Badass. And of course, hit Sarah up. I believe she's Embrace, Live, Thrive. Correction, she's Embrace, Live, Thrive on Instagram. So yeah, send us both a screenshot of the episode and then a little takeaway would be cool. What did you think about it? Or put it in your Instagram stories and tag us. But again, she was a total badass and she was super vulnerable in sharing her story. So if you can all relate or you had any takeaways from it, let's show her some love and let her know what you thought. All right, that's it for today. I cannot wait for you to hear Monday's episode. Monday's episode is going to be so stinking awesome. You are going to hear from Carolyn Edge with Edgecraft ATX. Carolyn is creating art out of paper and magic. And she's embracing the edgier side of life. She's a total badass and we had a great conversation. So check that out on Monday's episode. All right, that's it. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.